This is Captain Soban of the fleet, Farron Shaw.
We have arrived in Sector 112 and request targeting data.
Hello everyone. Hello. This is Captain Soban. Welcome aboard the Starship Enigma for an episode of Homeworld Experiments. It's been a long time since I made an episode for this series, but Homeworld Experiments is kind of a series where we do some sort of weird, crazy experiment and try to see what's happening. And I purposely don't make a whole lot of videos of these frequently to keep the interest in the series. And usually, when I make a video for this series, it's because I'm like really into this, and I'm just like, okay, I really want to do this experiment, and I think it'll make a really good YouTube video. So today we are going to experiment with the different armor levels of our super capital ships. So as you can see, I have a Titan heavy cruiser. And for those of you that are unaware, in Homeworld, when you attack certain size of a super capital or capital ship, I believe it works on frigates as well, you'll do a certain amount of damage to it. And I modified some of those values for my mods, so this is both testing for you guys and testing for my mod as a way to like mess around with things. So in front of the super capitals, you have the ship will take 80% of the damage that comes into it. So you'll take a lot less damage if you focus all your absorption in the front of the ship. And then on the sides of the ship, the left side and the right side, you will take 100% of the damage. So you'll take a normal amount of damage. And then on top and bottom, we will be taking 25% additional damage, so 125% damage altogether. And if you get attacked in the back, you'll take 75% additional damage because it's a weak spot. It's the engine area. So 75% more damage you'll be taking in the back. So keep that in mind. And today we are going to be doing multiple experiments at the same time to mess around with this theory. So this first experiment here, as you can see, we have a Kushan destroyer and 2 ions. The goal of the experiment is to have the heavy cruiser and destroyer engage and have the ions support the damage, or support the destroyer, and they'll be attacking in various different areas of the heavy cruiser. So the first experiment, they're just all going to be attacking the front. I'm just curious to see how long the heavy cruiser or destroyer can last by doing that. And the second experiment, the ions will be attacking on the sides, so they'll be doing more damage to it. Apologize about the barking. Something's going on outside causing our dogs to go crazy. The third experiment, they'll be attacking from top and bottom, or bottom and top, I should say, which should do additional damage. And the final experiment, the ions will be assisting in the rear. Now, I expect the destroyer to die in the first experiment and the second experiment, but I think the third and fourth experiment, the ions will be able to do enough damage to the heavy cruiser to help kill it before the destroyer dies. But that's what we're here to find out. I'm curious to see if this scenario would be possible if we just use a handful of frigates while the heavy cruiser is distracted. So, without further ado, give me 1 moment. I have to minimize the game to issue the commands for the other computer, and then we'll get ourselves going. Okay, everything has been issued. Everything is now engaging. We're also all in neutral instead of evasive, evasive, which is why they weren't engaging before the beginning of this video. In case you guys are curious, the heavy cruiser has 325,000 health. It does 680 DPS. The Kushan destroyer has, I believe, 250,000, if I remember. 250,000 health, but does 380 DPS. The ions have 75,000 health and do 150 DPS each. So on paper, this should be a pretty even match. Let's see, how are you doing? Not doing too bad. How much damage has Experiment 3 been doing? So far, they all seem to be about the same. Oh, 4 has definitely been taking more damage from the ions in the back. This one definitely has been taking the least amount of damage. Very, very interesting. It looks like most of the destroyers seem to be about 75% right now? So I wonder if all of them will win this situation. Interesting. Now also to keep in mind, in my mod, ships do not repair themselves in or out of combat. So whatever damage we do to the ship is permanent, unless there's a support frigate or repair frigate around to get it healed. But that one looks like it's doing pretty good. This one's not too bad. The destroyers have gotten to the point where they're starting to show damage. The heavy cruisers are at that point as well. Let's see, this heavy cruiser is at that point too. Okay. Ooh, the third experiment where they're attacking from up and below, heavy cruisers almost down to half health. So they're probably gonna win this match. Ooh, yeah, you've taken a whole lot more damage. This heavy cruiser is getting close to the flaming status now. But this one is definitely going to die quick. Yep, it just made it to the flaming status. Wow. The big difference between the first one and the second one. The first one and the last one. The first one is still way over half. Destroyers look like they just passed 50% health. So this one is definitely gonna win. Barely, but it's going to win. The second one might win as well. So my prediction so far seems to be doing pretty good. The third one is almost at flaming status with the ions attacking from top and below. Very interesting. So this is the type of tactic I've never really used that much in Homeworld. It just reached a flaming status. And I think the destroyers are about to reach flaming status as well. Yeah, this one's on fire. Yeah, this is the type of tactic I never really used that much in Homeworld. Where you could attack using your support frigates or your escort ships that are protecting your main capital ship and use them to hit the weak spots of the super capitals. This one's on fire. What are we doing over here? These ones are both on fire. This one's in the red. This heavy cruiser actually is about to die. Getting really, really close. Destroyers are down to about, I'd say, 30% health. So this heavy cruiser is down to probably maybe 15-20% health. This heavy cruiser is doing pretty good. He just entered red. The other destroyers are not red yet. They're getting close. This one's still doing good. And this one's not too bad either. Probably have about 35% here. Not bad. Now I don't think this heavy cruiser would win the entire fight against these three. But just in this specific scenario, if his objective was to kill that super capital, he would most likely win. Oop! We just lost the fourth one. So that one has been completed. That destroyer looks like it has probably about 20% health. It just entered red. That one's about to die. So the ones with the ion cannons hitting the engines have definitely helped out a lot. This one with the ion cannons hitting the sides seem to be helping, but not helping as much. For this one with the ions hitting the top and bottom, still seem to be doing a decent amount of damage to it. Very interesting experiment. This one's getting very close to winning. This destroyer here should be really, really close to dying. This one's probably gonna win, but it's gonna be very, very close. Oh, this heavy cruiser is about to die, and there it goes. That one has been defeated. Yep, that one has been destroyed. Alright. Give me 1 moment. I need to pause this. Okay. So test results are now in. So for the first one, it looks like our heavy cruiser was able to destroy the destroyer with about maybe 15 to 20% health left. I would say probably closer to 15, with the ions assisting in the front. In the second experiment, where the ions were fighting along the side, the heavy cruiser decided to start fighting the ions because I forgot he was still set to neutral instead of evasive. It had about maybe, I would say, 5 to 10% health left. I would say probably closer to 10. So not bad. In this scenario, for the heavy cruiser side, if you were fighting a destroyer with 2 ions on the side, you would beat the destroyer if the ions stay on the side and stay in the front area. Not too bad. Let's see how the destroyers survived on the other one. Okay, looking at the destroyers from the other computer, the ones where the ions were focusing on the top and bottom of the heavy cruiser, the destroyer survived with about maybe 5% health. Maybe not even that. So it did survive, but barely survived. And then the one with the ions were in the back, focusing on the heavy cruiser's engines, it survived. The destroyer survived with about maybe 20% health. So yeah, there is a big difference between where you use your support vessels to help destroy a large super capital ship. So I hope you guys enjoyed this experiment. It's a little bit different than normally, but like I said, I do enjoy doing the experimental videos, but I try not to do them too frequently because I like to keep them for when there's a project that I really, really want to experiment with, because then I'm more excited to actually do it than just be like, okay, I need to make a video for today. I'm going to do an experimental vessel, quickly build 50 destroyers and tell them to kill 51 destroyers and see who wins. So we might play around a little bit more with these experiments. There's a couple more I want to do with playing around with the position of frigates and super capitals and seeing like if a couple of these ships can fight a different ship. But I need to get the whole like computer thing a little bit set up a little bit better. I think I know how I'm gonna do it, but I need to work a little bit more on that. So we might do another experiment later on in the week, or maybe next week. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This is also a shorter video than normal, but again, it's an experiment. So it probably was going to be a little bit shorter than normal anyways. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy this. Please leave a like if you do. If you like what I do, consider subscribing, and I will check you guys out in the next video. Until then, this is Captain Soban signing out.
The Baker have arrived. Emergency hyperspace procedures initiated.